the way things are going is it seems like every couple days we get worse news, worse news, worse news. And after seeing the news yesterday, after seeing the news this week, I'm like, this could be the death of Chinese phones. Now, let's roll into the second story because this also rolls into the death of Chinese smartphones and or flagships in the world, potentially in the United States. So there's a thing called Ramageddon. What is Ramageddon? Ramageddon is a new term that refers to Armageddon, obviously, is the end of the world, right? Well, this is like a term that the tech world has come up with for the memory crisis. I'm sure most of y'all are aware, and maybe you haven't checked the price of a memory lately. Whoa. It is, it has like freaking tripled. The price, and look, that doesn't go just for us, that goes for Apple, that goes for Samsung. They can use their own. All these big phone companies have to buy memory to supply their devices, right? The cost of memory has skyrocketed, and a lot of these, it's going to hurt these Chinese manufacturers more than it's going to hurt the United States manufacturers or other manufacturers. Because get this, Apple is like top three most valuable company in the world right now. Will it hurt their bottom line? Yes. However, they can ride this wave, this extraordinary spike in pricing for memory. They can ride it out. I mean, look, it's going to go down. We just don't know when. They're expecting it to be a couple of years, maybe 3 years. But they can ride this wave out. It's not going to destroy them, right? So they'll survive this. Google, same thing. They're what, top 2, top 3 most valuable companies in the world. They can ride this out. It's not going to destroy them. Samsung, they make the memory. They'll be fine. They're making like insane profits right now, so they'll be fine. So you got iPhone good, Pixel good, Samsung good. Where does that leave the other companies? That leaves them in the dust. Xiaomi, Oppo, that includes Vivo, Realme, OnePlus. This is where it's really going to hurt because they don't have more money than God, like Apple and Google, right? This is where it's really going to hurt them. The cost in rising memory chips that they put for RAM and or storage. There was a point in this article, which you can find down below in the show notes link, where there are two main leakers in the tech world. One is Ice Universe and the other is Digital Chat. Is that Digital Chat Station. He's an enormous leaker, tech leaker. And then Ice Universe, another enormous leaker. I'm sure I got him right here on the screen. Both of them are saying that they've heard behind the scenes, Xiaomi, from all these Chinese companies, Xiaomi, Oppo, which is the parent company of OnePlus, Oppo, Vivo, Realme. He's hearing they might not even manufacture their Ultra series devices, meaning their flagship phones, for a couple years. They may just take a break until the Ramageddon, until the price of storage and or memory goes down. That's how much it's eating into their profits, to their bottom line, their profit margin. So a lot of these manufacturers, so there's like an 80-20 split where there's been so much focus. What's going on, brother? There's been so much focus put on cameras and sensors that in the industry, it's called the 80-20 split. 80-20 split. 80% of the build materials, meaning if I have $400 to source all these parts, if I'm making a phone, and let's say I'm going to sell it for $1,000, but you can only have $400 in no more than $500. 500 is the cap, but we're shooting for 400. So to build this phone, and then whatever we sell it is profit, right? That's kind of how it works. The 80/20 split means out of that $400 I have to build that phone, 80% of it is going towards camera technology. It seems like a lot, but that's how the numbers break down. Sensors, development, software is an enormous expense. These sensors are very, very expensive when it comes down to parts in the phone. And remember, they don't just have one sensor. A lot of these phones have 3 sensors, 4 sensors, including the selfie camera on the front, sometimes 5. It's a lot of money. And then the other 20% goes to speakers, your vibration motor, the flex cables, the display, the memory. Well, the cost of memory has skyrocketed, and it's breaking up that 80/20 split. So if they have to spend more money on the storage, that means they have less money to spend on these sensors. You see what I'm saying? And you can't have a flagship phone, an ultra phone with ultra specs, and have a shitty camera experience. It just doesn't work out like that. They would get blasted in all these publications. Oh, the Vivo X300 sensors are total trash. Like, what? It just doesn't make sense. So it's it's messing up this formula that they use. And these Chinese phone makers have said, we just may take a break. So that means there will be no Oppo Find X10 next year or X11, or there will be in China. I guess it would be. In China, there would be no more OnePlus 16 or OnePlus 17. They're literally thinking about taking a break, like not making flagship phones for the next 2 years. They would just make budget and mid-range phones. Like, holy crap. That's insane. But they don't want to take a loss, right? They're a company. They're in business to make money. So if they're not going to make money, if the numbers, I'm sure they're number crunching right now. If they can't make money, if they're taking a major loss on producing these flagship phones, they're just not going to make them. Oh boy, what a disaster. And I think that's a real possibility. Yesterday I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't know. I see the reasoning, but I just don't know if that's possible. It was hard for me to even comprehend such a thing. Now that I think about it today, and then now that we got the news from this morning coming out of the Middle East, I'm like, yeah, I can definitely see this happening. And it's not like these leakers have said they're just not going to stop making them. I mean, they are for the next 2 or 3 years, but when the markets come back down, prices come back down, then they'll continue making flagships. But it looks like we're going to have to go for the next few years without flagship Chinese phones. Now, in my shoes where I sit, I've never used an Oppo phone. I've never used a Xiaomi. Well, I've used one Xiaomi phone, but that was years ago. But like Vivo, I've never owned a Vivo phone. So like me personally, it's not a big deal. But we can't think like that. As a whole, as an industry, it is an enormous deal. This could have lasting effects for years to come. This is not good. The more options we have as consumers, not only the better prices, at least it should be that way, we should see, but the better competition we will see. Meaning, Samsung put out a phenomenal product this year. Oh man, that's going to put pressure on Google to step their game up with these Pixels. And same thing with iPhone, right? If Samsung and Google put out really good flagships this year, puts pressure on Apple to step their game up and to bring something new to the table. You see what I'm saying? So even though I or you, if you're in the United States, probably have never considered buying a Xiaomi or an Oppo or a Vivo, um, you should be concerned and you should be worried about them not being on the market for the next few years. This is an enormous problem. Um, now, it will. Now, yeah, I know. I wanted this year was the first year I really thought I was going to get my hands on an Oppo phone. I've never had one, always wanted one. And ironically, about a couple months ago, before this all unfolded, I was really had my eyes set on getting an Oppo Find X9 Pro. I thought, I love the OnePlus 15. It's essentially a OnePlus 15, but even better if you can imagine that. So, of course, I would love it. And now it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Not good news. Let me see what everybody's saying. I looked a bit more into this, and if this new law does come into effect, a lot of people have told me it may not last long, and it will have negative effects on both U.S. and China. Yeah, it's not good. There needs to be open, and I'm not going to say free trade because that's debatable, but here's another thing. And again, I don't discuss politics here. That's not what I do. I don't even like to discuss politics in my personal life. It's just, but especially here on YouTube. But there really needs to be free trade and all these tariffs going around, especially changing the tariffs. Oh, it's 55%. No, it's 35%. No, we lowered it to 15%. No, I'm going to do 100% if you don't do what I say. What? Like, that just totally jacks up. And not just for phones. I'm talking about like all the stuff that I have in here, all the electronics, probably 90% of it's made in China. Like, it's going to jack up everything. So these companies don't like that. Buyers and sellers, suppliers, the shippers, they don't know what to put on the bill lading, right? The work order, the purchase order. They're like, is there a 35% tariff? Is it 55% tariff today? It just jacks up everything. And it's just not good moving forward. Yeah. And thank you. If you want to take I strongly encourage, I broke everything down pretty easy. And I basically comes down to 4 articles. We're going to get into a couple more. Go down in the description box of this video. You'll see a link called show notes. Click on that. It'll pull up everything we're looking at here. It'll pull up the bullet points from each article and then a link to that article so you can take a deeper dive. But I strongly encourage everybody to take a look. Just take a few minutes out of your day. Just scroll through this. It's very alarming when you actually sit down and read through what's going on in the tech world